Your room is making you dumber, not metaphorically, literally, and the scary part is you can't feel it happening. You've been sitting in the same space, blaming your brain for not working. Bad focus. Bad memory can't get started when the entire time the room itself was the variable. There's something in your room right now, something you've stopped seeing because it's always there, that is actively eating your cognitive bandwidth. We'll get to exactly what it is, but first, I need to show you what your brain is doing the moment you walk into a cluttered space. In 2011, researchers at the Princeton Neuroscience Institute ran a study on attention and physical environment. They put people in 2 rooms, one organized, one messy, and measured their brain activity while they tried to focus on a task. The messy room group showed significantly higher neural activity in the regions associated with distraction. Their brains were working harder and accomplishing less. Your brain processes everything in your visual field, even the stuff you think you're ignoring. That pile of clothes, the charger cable on the floor, the empty water bottles, the random stuff on your desk that's been there so long it's basically furniture now. Every single one of those objects is a tiny, silent demand on your working memory. Working memory is basically your brain's RAM. It's the mental space where you hold information while you're actively using it while you're thinking, learning, making decisions. And here's the thing about RAM. It's limited. It can fill up. And when it fills up with the background noise of your environment, there's less room for the actual work. This is called cognitive load, and clutter is one of the most underestimated forms of it. But it gets worse. Roy Baumeister, a psychologist at Florida State, spent years studying what he called ego depletion. The idea is that your willpower and decision-making capacity run on a finite resource. Every decision you make throughout the day draws from the same pool. And here's where your room becomes a silent thief. Clutter forces micro-decisions. Every time your brain registers that pile on the floor, it's asking, should I deal with this now? Later. Is this important? Should I feel bad about it? You're not consciously having this conversation, but your prefrontal cortex is hundreds of times a day in your own home. By the time you sit down to do anything that actually matters, you're already running on fumes, and you blamed your motivation. Now, the specific thing I mentioned at the start. It's not the clutter you can see. It's what's at eye level when you're sitting down. Research on environmental cues shows that objects in your immediate sight line, within 1 to 2 meters of where you're working, have the highest cognitive interference. Your brain treats them as unfinished tasks, a textbook you haven't opened, a project you abandoned, a game controller. These aren't just objects. Your brain has tagged each one with an incomplete action, and every time your eyes drift across them, that tag gets reread. Focus interrupted. Again, Marcus Aurelius wrote about his workspace. He stripped it down, not because he was obsessed with minimalism, but because he understood that your environment is either working for you or against you. There is no neutral. The 8-minute fix is this. Before you sit down to do anything that requires your brain studying, creating, problem solving, spend 8 minutes clearing only your sight line, not the whole room. Just the 180-degree view from where you work. That's the high interference zone. Clear it, and your working memory gets a meaningful chunk of its capacity back. One study found that people in a cleared workspace completed tasks 40% faster and reported higher feelings of control and competence. Not because they were smarter, because their RAM finally had space to run. Your brain hasn't been failing you. Your environment has been taxing you without your consent. And the difference between a room that drains you and a room that sharpens you isn't a Pinterest aesthetic. It's 8 minutes and a clear sight line. The room you work in is either an asset or a liability. Right now, for most of you, it's a liability you've been paying for every single day. Anyway, I'm collecting donations in the form of subscribes to fund the next video.